Hello, welcome to Nosgoth. This game is a free-to-play, well, it will be a free-to-play game when it comes out. It is currently in closed beta right now, and it's got a free weekend, as you can see right there, August 7th to 10th. And this game is, well, I actually got a key for this, but I couldn't get my Square Enix account working. But I finally got it working, and just happens that the free weekend was here, so I was like, brilliant, perfect timing. This game's a lot better than I thought it was going to be, but I still think it has a few problems. It is in closed beta, but I played it for about 3 hours and 22 minutes, and I think I'm kind of done with it now. It might be because it's closed beta, but there isn't much in the game yet. So basically, the game is multiplayer. It is humans versus vampires, which is pretty cool. And the vampires aren't, well, I don't think they're really your typical vampires. But it's kind of set in, I don't know, Van Helsing-y time, I guess. I don't know. But you start off with 2 classes, and you can get more classes. You start off with 2 classes for each side. The humans, you start with the hunter, who has like a crossbow. He has a bowler, which is a swing chain thing that wraps up enemies. He actually starts with, he doesn't start with a grenade, I bought that. He starts with explosive shot. You can buy the grenade, and you buy items with coins, and you can buy them either permanently or for 7 days, and it doesn't cost too much. You get gold pretty quickly, so it's not really a big deal. You also get the alchemist, which kind of explains itself. She has a hand cannon, which is basically a grenade launcher. Sunlight vial, throw vial that explodes into a flash of light. It's basically a flashbang. Firewall, which is a firewall, and yeah, she's pretty good. Now for the vampires, you start with a Reaver, who is basically the fast vampire. The pounce, has a shadow bomb, and has evasion. And he's pretty fragile, but he's very fast. And you got the Tyrant, who I play as, I really like. He's basically a big tanky guy. Has a charge ability, a ground slam, and ignore pain. You also get daily perks, which is what it says. You get different perks per day. And for the other 2 classes you have to unlock, you get the Scout, who is a bow and arrow guy. He's pretty cool. He's a bit more skillful. He throws knives. He has a volley, which he throws down on the floor, and arrows come from the sky. And you got the Prophet, who has dual pistols, hex shot, and life leech. He's pretty good. Hex shot slows down enemies. Life leech takes a bit of life from the enemy and gives it to you. And I have not got the other 2 vampires yet. Well, every 5 levels you get the ability to unlock another class. And I got all classes for humans, but didn't unlock any other classes for these guys. But essential is basically he can fly. I'm not sure what the deceiver is, but you have an infantry here of what you've unlocked and what you've got. Got the armory. Let's just have a look. Grenade, blinding shot, scout, volley, trap, grappling hook. Interesting. So this game reminds me quite a bit of Dead Space 2 multiplayer. I don't know why, it just kind of does. Basically, the humans, there is Team Deathmatch at the moment, Team Deathmatch and Siege. Siege is where the humans have to move around and capture certain points, and the vampires have to stop them from doing that. And then you got Team Deathmatch, which is what it says on the tin. But basically, all 4 humans basically have to stay all together, while the vampires basically hunt the humans down. And that's why it reminds me of Dead Space, because Dead Space 2 is multiplayer, because all 4 humans basically had to stand right next to each other, while the necromorphs had to basically try and kill them. And what's interesting is that the vampires can climb on walls and traverse way more than humans can. The humans can't climb anything unless you get the grappling hook, I guess, for the Scout. So basically, the vampires can climb on walls, they can jump really far, they can climb onto anything. So basically they have a lot more movement capabilities than the humans. So basically you have to try and catch them by surprise. Now the problem with this is that humans, it's slightly boring in the fact that all humans just stay together. They just camp in a corner, and that's all they really do. And this is a team game. If you have a bad team, you're screwed. You're gonna lose. There's nothing you can do. If all the vampires have to attack together. If they don't attack together, you're not gonna kill anyone. You're just gonna get mowed down instantly by the enemies. So we could check it out right now. So I'm level 14 right now, and you start off in the new recruit section, which you cannot do anymore once you reach level 10. It's basically just for new players. You've got team deathmatch and siege. So let's try team deathmatch. Like I said, this game will be free to play. It doesn't really seem pay to win at all. Like I said, even if you've got the best gear, or if you bought everything, if your team's bad, you're not winning. You're not going to win. It's not going to happen. What the hell is that? Is that someone's microphone on? Jesus. So let's start off with the hunter. That's weird. There's a weird bug where sometimes the game just goes mental. So we're in the game. So basically all four of you have to stay together. And as you're wondering, it's kind of like a third-person shooter, which I was not expecting. So these are the vampires. And basically, it all turns into a bit of a big clusterfuck. Which is fine. So basically, I'm dead. Basically, all vampires have a ability which lets them take basically no damage. Which they can use to get away with, which is kind of interesting.
Do your duty.
As you can see here, I have like a crossbow, fully automatic crossbow. It's pretty effective. Enemies take a lot more hits than in a game, normal games like Call of Duty and stuff like that. It's, it's kind of like Team Fortress 2, or where enemies take a lot of hits, stuff like that. And there's the Tyrant. He's a big guy, big slammy guy. Ah. Ooh. Damn it. This is not the type of game that's really easy to play while you're commentating, but we could try. So it takes a few seconds to respawn. As you can see, they can traverse the environment a lot more than you can. That guy's a small guy, he's a fast guy. He has a big leap ability, which lets him leap onto enemies, kind of like the baby creatures from Dead Space 2. Basically, if they're getting away, you can do this. There you go, that thing which ties them up, and then they can't do anything. They can only move, or they can only run away. You can see he takes quite a few hits. Use my grenade, see if that does anything. There you go. Killed him. So, what he was doing there, he was basically executing the guy, which basically, if you killed an enemy, you can go to their body, and, well, vampires can. If they kill you, they go to your body, they execute you, they get your health back. Which is the only way that vampires can get their health back. Humans can go to supply points and get their health back, and ammo. And they're dotted around the map. The supply points look like this. But if the alchemist can have an ability which lets you heal. What the hell is going on over there? There's like a bug. Like a weird sound bug over there, I think. Like I said, this game isn't... It's in closed beta, so there are a few issues. So from what I know, the vampires do not have any... Like their normal attack, they don't have any ranged normal attacks. They just have melee attacks. So you basically have to catch humans by surprise to hit them. So also every match has 2 rounds, and once you finish the round, you switch sides, and you have to try and win again. But The scoring is a little bit weird. If you win the first match, if you lose the first match and win the second match, it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be a draw. It's a little bit confusing. Also, while they're in that ability that lets them take like no damage, they can't attack. Attacking is disabled. But when you're playing as the humans, it's basically a standard third-person shooter with a few abilities. The vampires are what makes it a lot more interesting. And you can see we're getting our ass kicked. I'm just going to change the class to the Scout. Scout is a pretty interesting class. It's a lot more skillful, I'd say. What is that? What is that bug? There's a bug here. What the hell is going on with the sound here? That's weird. It's very weird. As the humans, you have a dodge ability, which lets you roll. So as the Scout, you can draw back the arrow and do a heavy shot, or you can just fire normally.
Find those leeches. We can still win.
So yeah, we lost then.
Death will follow me.
No match defeat. Oh, okay, we joined halfway through. So, at the end of the match, you get experience. You level up the different characters you play. Scoreboard tells you how much damage you did, and assist deaths, blah blah blah, like that. But I personally don't think Team Deathmatch is very good because it's like the enemies, well, the humans basically just, well, you just have to like stay in a corner, so it's kind of boring. But as you can see, our team was terrible. If you have a bad team, you're gonna lose. So that's sort of an issue, but that's a problem with all team games that you can't really avoid. But Siege, I think, is a lot more interesting and a lot better. Hopefully they'll have more modes when this game releases, because it's a bit... I'm already kind of done with it. The game runs perfectly fine on my system, at least. I have a GTX 760. I'll put my full specs in the description. It runs really well, max settings, so no issues there, really. I guess, I don't know. A lot less people are playing Siege because you have to be level 10 to unlock it. But I would say Siege is way better because Siege, the humans have to move around the map, kind of like Dead Space 2, to capture objectives. So it's a lot more interesting just sitting in a corner. But it's a really, really good, I'd say, free-to-play game. It's really polished. It's when I saw some like videos on this, I was like, that looks terrible. And I played it, I was like, whoa, that's actually a pretty good free-to-play game. You know, it's polished. When the free weekend is out, you have to actually pay to get into the beta, but it's only it's £3 normally. It's £1.50, so they're not asking for much. It's not like taking the piss like Firefall was for like £20 to get into the beta. Our Lord and Saviour, Jesus Christ. Bow down to him. Bow down. There is a tutorial, and the tutorial is pretty good. It's not bad, but it's not great. It's just a simple tutorial, just to teach you the controls, really. It's just kind of these games can, like I said, if you have a bad team, you're gonna have a bad experience with this game. If you have a bad team, you're gonna hate the game. There's like no getting around that in these type of games. It's like you can just become like a real pain in the ass just to finish a match because you know you can't win because your team's not very good and blah 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 like that. It's not the best in the world when that happens. Also, in Siege, the vampires take a lot longer to spawn than respawn than they normally do in Team Deathmatch. They take double the time, which is a little bit annoying. What's odd is that the vampires are actually... You would think the vampires should have a lot more health, but they don't. They have around the same health as the humans, so it's kind of interesting, you know, if 4 humans are shooting at 1 vampire, you'll be dead in like 2 seconds. So, I don't know. One thing I would say is that it's a little bit awkward to hit vampires because, like I said, the vampires only have melee attacks. Their standing attack is a melee attack, and that's their main way of doing damage. And when they're doing that, it's a little bit hard to hit them because they're kind of like flipping out a little bit. The game does lock on to your enemies when you're doing the melee attacks. Kind of has like a lock on, so it makes it a little bit easier. It's interesting though. It's really really different. That's one thing you can say. So props for making an innovative game. You know, we don't have enough really. I don't think. And it's free when it comes out. I don't know when it comes out, but it's free for the weekend, so you can try it out. I just hope by the time of release they add a few more modes and maybe balance the game a little bit more. Because at the moment it seems like, I would say humans are, if you've got a good team, the humans are way more powerful than the vampires. Simply because, like I said, the vampires only have melee attacks. Their abilities, they sometimes have ranged ability attacks, but most of the time they don't really do damage. They're just they're just like, most of the ranged abilities for the vampires are kind of just, I don't know, I can't really explain it. What's the word? They're kind of, they're not offensive, but they're more defensive in a way. Like, kind of like a smoke bomb, which just makes the area completely smoky for the humans. What's pretty cool is that the Essential, the flying vampire, can swoop down and pick up a human and like take him away and drop him from a high height and do quite a bit of damage like that. It took me about 2 hours to get to level 10, but once you hit level 10, the leveling seems to slow down a lot, which, you know, could be a little bit frustrating if you're bored of the character you're using and you want to unlock a new character. So there are, like I said, there are 4 characters on each side, which is interesting. You can actually they actually all have different weapons, which is pretty cool. And they all have their, you know, advantages and disadvantages. And you can get armor, but it's just cosmetic. It's not. Doesn't do anything. Oh, damn it. I want to get into the game. Come on. I guess we can look at the store. This is the store. You can obviously buy stuff. But, say for instance, like, like this, you can either buy it for 7 days or buy it permanently, which costs a lot more, which is interesting. You can also buy rune stones. Now these a little bit expensive, I would say. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, slightly expensive, maybe. Maybe, I would say, maybe. I mean, the skins are pretty expensive. You also buy perks, but they're pretty cheap. So you can buy one for 7 days, and it takes like, it doesn't take, so 115 gold coins for 7 days. It doesn't take long to get coins at all. God damn it. It's kind of annoying that you need 4 people to start a match. And if someone leaves, you're fudged. You're fudged. You're not going to win. You're going to lose. Actually have a different ability that I forgot to equip, the whip. Grenade is pretty good. Explosive shot is pretty good. Grenade does quite a bit of damage. If that really was our Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ, he would spawn another person to play the game with us. But one thing I would say is that it's definitely one of the better free-to-play games out there. It's very, it feels like you would pay for this. You know what I mean? You would definitely pay a premium for it. It seems like a game that would be released for 20 quid or $30. It's pretty good, pretty good. But like I said, they need to add a few more modes because I'm kind of already. It's kind of a repetitive game. Matches are about 20 minutes, and once you've done one match, you kind of feel a bit exhausted from it. So, you know, I don't know if it's one of those games that you could keep playing for hours and hours and hours, but maybe you could. Said, I'm a vampire. You got the Reavers and the Tyrants. I like to play Tyrants, so I'm a big vampire here. Pretty cool. Now, obviously, you're a big target, so you're really easy to hit. There doesn't seem to be any lag, which is good. Apart from the fact that those guys have got high ping up there. So, you can walk normally, but if you hold shift, you will automatically climb stuff, which is pretty cool. There is no jump, but you automatically jump when you go to an edge. You can't jump manually, which is kind of interesting. Sometimes, like, you naturally hold shift to sprint. You don't actually move any faster when you're holding shift. So sometimes what can happen is you'll accidentally start climbing stuff. So you have a melee attack here. That guy's gone invisible and I can't see him. Where'd he go? So I have a charge ability, which is a little bit hard to control. Another way it went. Basically, you just have to keep mashing, clicking until you kill them, basically. There we go, killed him there. So what you can do is you can execute them and get a bit of health back like that. So like I said, I'm pretty sure all vampires have like a defense ability. Press F. Basically, attacks are disabled, but you basically have ridiculous armor. You take like no damage at all. You take like a tiny amount of damage. So it's like a defensive attack. We also have a ground slam. Yes, a ground slam. So just use there. Sometimes it's a little bit awkward to hit the enemies if they're like skirting around, circling around. So we are playing Siege. So they have to basically capture points. And they can only get points by capturing, you know, certain places. But we can only get points by killing them. So it's basically, every time they capture a point, they get 50 points, 5 points. And every time we kill them, we get 1 point. So, basically the first to 30. It's a pretty interesting way of doing it. You know, most times you basically just have to stop them from capturing it for a certain time limit. No, you just have to keep killing them until you reach 30 kills. So for the vampires, it's kind of like sort of like a team deathmatch, but also mixed with capture the point, basically. Oh god, flashbang. Ugh. As you can see, it's all very, very, very hectic. You know. Grand Slam. Grand Slam? I keep saying Grand Slam. Ground Slam. So he just did a thing which lets me not attack. Low on health. Execute him. Get a load of health back. I actually quite like the Prophets. They're pretty cool. Uh-oh, I can't see a thing. What's going on? There we go. Uh-oh. Oh. The thing is, it works both ways. If you're a vampire and you're getting shot at, it's pretty hard to actually get away from the humans that are shooting at you, and vice versa. If you're being attacked by a vampire and you're on your own, it's pretty hard to get away. You can't really do anything. That's why it's vital to stick together. And if your team is not doing that, you're screwed. That's what I was saying is, it's basically the Dead Space 2 multiplayer, but with vampires instead of necromorphs. Just with more modes. Climbing about reminds me of Assassin's Creed, I think. I just think that maybe they need to add, I don't know, it's kind of, I feel like the humans just have an advantage, of like an unfair advantage, simply because they have ranged weapons. And I think maybe, at first, playing vampires, you know, is really cool because you can jump around, you've got cool abilities, but it can kind of get maybe a bit repetitive. Whereas playing as humans, I don't think is that repetitive. Especially like you saw there, I just got completely trashed there. Ugh. Get back down there. So the charge ability is good for like scattering the humans. But one thing I would say is that as the humans, it's pretty difficult to not win. You know, if it's to lose as the humans, you basically just need a bad team. Now I need the health. You do regen a bit of health, but only to a certain point. There you go, they won. There you go. Level 10 the Tyrant. Okay, let's play the Prophet. No, let's play the Alchemist, actually. The Alchemist is pretty good, but I just think like the vampires have a way higher learning curve than the humans. The humans are super easy to play, and that's why I think a bad human team isn't in as much trouble as a bad vampire team. Because, you know, as the humans, it's a pretty straightforward third-person shooter with a few abilities, and like anyone can do that. But the vampires, there's a lot more skill involved with the vampires, a lot more teamwork, and I feel like, you know, a lot of people will be turned off by that. So the Alchemist has a grenade launcher, which is pretty good. It's pretty powerful. Has a firewall, basically just place a firewall down. And like I said, she has a flashbang, which doesn't really last for too long. Just put a firewall down. It does quite a lot of damage. You can also get hurt by it, which is a little bit weird. There we go. Actually, as a humans, you're pretty fast. Actually, when you're sprinting, it's really fast. Shit. I think we should go back to the hunter.
I'm here, you bloodsuckers.
I can't see anything. That's the oh. Well, that's that guy. The guy that vampire type. That vampire type has a smoke bomb, which basically makes it for you impossible to see anything. So that can pick a guy up. That's pretty devastating. You can't really do anything while he's picked you up. Oh god, the deceiver is controlling me. Okay, that's a little bit cheap. First time I've seen that, you can't do anything. Will you be controlled by that?
Leave none alive.
This is one of those games where skill doesn't really matter. It's just like if you're all together and working as a team, that's what matters. Like, you know, in like you know, in normal game, in like Call of Duty or Battlefield, if you're good enough, you can take on tons of enemies all by yourself. But in this game, you can't do that. And that kind of it's kind of annoying, you know, when you're like, there's literally nothing you can do because no matter how good you are, you cannot take on this many zombies simply because they take a ridiculous amount of hits to kill. Our team's terrible again. Let's go to the Prophet.
Today we build all our tomorrows.
as you can see, it's really not fun when you're on the losing team and you're just being completely demolished.
I speak with the voice of the many, and I call this day your last. We bring the future to us.
Oh, brilliant.
I see your fate.
And I'm dead. Let's try Scout.
Let's free this town.
Also, what's kind of annoying is that a lot of the time the enemy's attacks stun you, which I feel like I think they should take that out, honestly, because it's kind of annoying. It's really annoying.
For mankind.
I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of hard to get out of something when you've been stunned, and we got completely owned. Huh. So that is Nosgoth. As you can see, I've kind of shown you the bad side of it, because it's, if you've got a terrible team, you just can't do anything. And that is the main problem with the game so far. I think I just personally like games where individual skill is more important, because you can't do anything if your team's terrible. And you're just going to have an awful experience. But it's actually a really, I think it's a really good game if you have good teammates. And it's really interesting that they've got vampires. I just hope they maybe add more stuff, because I feel like once you've played this for a few hours, you're like, yeah, that was good. But you don't really need to play anymore. And especially, you know, if you have bad teammates, it can kind of put you off. But overall, it's a pretty good game. I would say it's definitely one of the better free-to-play games out there. And business model seems pretty good. It's not really pay to win, because you couldn't really do a pay to win in a game like this, because if you've got a bad team, you're going to lose no matter what. But it's pretty good, pretty good. Check it out. It's free weekend on Steam right now. Just, it'd probably be good if you have a good set of friends that want to play it with you, and you'll probably have a really good time.